Godspeed and Goodnight. He wakes naked and with tongue so dry it's stuck to the roof of his mouth. And he thinks, what am I? There are tubes and wires in him. There is the urge to piss. And though he's standing straight, there is only black ahead and walls on either side. An upright coffin. He goes to scream. Only a gramophone scratch comes. He pounds his fist. A barrier is very close, inches from his face. Plastic. He tries to scream again. Better. A noise this time. More animal than man, but a noise. Yes, good. Again. And then the shutter shade on his coffin draws downwards, and behind it is a glittering chromium chamber. His vision is too blurry to make out even his own hands. But yes, he remembers now. Sims. Sigma. Marak. He peels his tongue from the roof of his mouth and his taste buds rip off in bloody clusters. He tries to use it again. Sigma, he says in his plastic coffin. Sims. He wipes his eyes. Marak. Movement ahead. He wipes his eyes again and again. Yes, Sims. That is a name I know. That is my name, I think. Sims. He tries it with his tongue. Sims. His eyes are almost focusing properly now. There is a man stood ahead of him, working at a control panel. Sigma, Sims says. Yes, that is where we are. A ship. The man looks up and catches Sims' eyes and looks down again as though nothing occurred. Sims bangs on the plastic wall. A transit chamber, as ship lingo has it, he knows. What was to be his bed for 10 years? And then to where? He bangs the plastic again. Hey! Hey! A ship to Marak, a star in the pit of the Big Dipper. Yes. The rest comes to him in a flood. Helmsman. God, I'm the helmsman. Marie. Where is she? And that man, the one ignoring me. Barnstable. Barnstable, he says. I'm awake. Hey! I'm awake. Barnstable crosses to another control panel and turns his back. Hey! Sims tries again. I'm awake. Hey! I'm awake! Barnstable crosses to another control panel and turns his back. Hey! Sims tries again. Barnstable won't be long out of transit sleep himself. He might still be half under. Sims feels behind himself for the emergency release lever and pulls. Nothing. An electric chill works its way up his spine. Barnstable, he says slowly. You've disabled the emergency mechanism. The shutter shades are down on the other chambers, but the plastic barriers are still up. The occupants are sleeping with their mouths open, with eyes half open, with their bodies twisted like balloon animals. Cut the shit, Sims says, and chuckles a little. Won't you cut out the shit? It's been a decade of sleeping here. I could do with a piss. Barnstable crosses to another control panel. He's not in ship uniform, but a long black shawl with his hair braided and his face smeared with red markings. Something is flailing about in another chamber, Sims can see. Adriana, the engineer. She makes an uncertain face and presses at the plastic. She shouts, then bangs on the chamber and screams, and her eyes are wide, and Sims can read her lips easily. Barnstable! The figure in the chamber to the right of her comes alive now. El Mesa, the navigator. Then more still, Snug, the physicist, and James, the companyman, and Eve, the nursery teacher, and Vita, the astronomer, all of them floundering and banging and shrieking at Barnstable from their plastic coffins, flailing, 15 electrified fish. The others are reaching behind now and groping for their emergency release levers. Adriana is the first to bring her hand back around, her face blank, understanding. Her lever inactive just like Sim's. Then there is a pregnant calm. The sleepers watch Barnstable carefully, inmates regarding their jailer, and for a brief moment Barnstable looks up, meeting the eyes of each crew member in turn. Adriana, to Snug, to Eve, to Sims, to the rest. The transit chamber mass ejection lever unfolds from Barnstable's control panel. Adriana is the first to react. No, her lips say. No, 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 no. Eve smacks on the plastic over and over, so hard her palms look close to splitting. Snug has put his hands over his face and is leaning against the wall of his transit chamber. James is tugging behind him at the emergency release lever, and Sims is only watching Barnstable, frozen. Barnstable admires the lever. Then he wraps his fingers slowly around the thing, leisurely, lovingly, and pulls it back. Sims shuts his eyes and cries out to any god who might be listening, to the universe if it gives a damn. The chamber explodes downwards. There is a churning of pistons and belts, and just when he thinks he might go deaf from the noise, a silence comes on his little coffin. A silence too perfect and too calm, and one he remembers, or has heard of at least. And when he opens his eyes, the everything is before him, an infinite rug of pulsars and nebulas and starfield after starfield. He can just make out the other ejected coffins streaking away from the ship, only they're too far away to discern the faces of the occupants. And he is glad of that. Sigma is growing distant quickly, the fat black bulk of the ship fading to a nothing above him. He bangs on the plastic transit chamber wall. The stars have no comment on this matter. The vacuum is silent too. Then he relaxes. His limbs fall limp in the weightlessness, and now he is nothing. A nothing, an idle mechanism, alive for as long as the oxygen lasts. No, by God, he thinks. He activates the transit chamber software, and the plastic wall comes to life. Crew, other crew, the three of them who were left awake to run maintenance on Sigma. Perhaps they're still on board. His hands are shaking suddenly, but he limits himself to one finger on each and types out a message, and there's enough of radio link to send it back to Sigma herself. Barnstable, gone nuts, ejected crew. Mayday. He waits, repeats the message. Nothing. The link is strong enough to check staff locations on the ship. Beatty and Dara's little red icons are both in corridors, not moving. A warning icon flashes above their heads. Check monitoring equipment. No pulse detected. And Ross's marker is in the acid chamber of the bilge, 10 feet deep. He relaxes his limbs again, and his eyes droop. The chamber lilts a little, and there, below Sims, is a patch of black where no stars live. And at first, he thinks it a beautiful thing. And then he knows better. The patch covers almost a quarter of the sky. The stars all eaten or hidden. A black hole. Of course. Barnstable. His black robes and braids and that red stuff on his face. Obvious, obvious, obvious. Then Barnstable was secretly a god-feeder, Sims thinks. Of that sick ilk who sacrifice hibernating crews to black holes, satiating the deities rumored to live inside of them. No different to Abraham, to an Aztec, to a savage. And to think he had it all hatched in his head, before we even got into our damn chambers. The coffin turns away from the black hole, then comes around again. Sims squints, searching for the other transit chambers. They're gone now, on their own paths to the jaws of Barnstable's hungry gravity god. A message icon flashes. Sims pounces. Who's that? He writes. Is that someone on Sigma? It's Turner. Thank God. Are you out of your trance chamber? No. Get out now. Barnstable's gone mad. Hit the emergency lever. I don't think that's a good idea. Why? Because he's ejected me. He's ejected all of us. Sim screams for a long while. Then slowly he writes, I know, Turner. I'm out too. There is a long interval. He tries to pull the life support tubes out of his arms, but they won't give. Like this, not like this. Don't want to die like this, Turner writes. Nice view, though, Sims writes. Better than a hospital bed, huh? Scared. I'm scared. Plenty of time for someone on Sigma to take control again. Come around and pick us up. It's not over. A pause. They're dead, Sims. All of them. Yes, I know. The black hole comes around again. A great, snarling unsun. Can't pull the life support tubes out, Sims writes. Preservation mode. What? Hurt yourself. Why? Just do it. Sims bites the back of his hand until he tastes blood. The chamber is suddenly full of clacking and chiming. Two mechanical arms appear from behind him and take his hand violently. There's a terrible pain, and when the arms retract back into their compartment, the wound on his hand is sewed up perfectly. The hell? He writes. It won't let you die. Can't keep recycling the oxygen though, can it? Yes, it can. Feeder tubes. Oxygen cycle. Stop breathing. Try it. Sims breathes in. The urge to exhale never comes. He counts about 3 minutes and finally opens his mouth again. How long will the chambers keep us alive? He writes slowly. Long time. How long? No limit. Almost 100% efficient. Heart attack then. Old age. Something. What? Uranium battery and cell regeneration. I told you. It won't let you die. Sims. I'm scared. He eyes the black hole again. It might take 5 years to reach it. Or 10,000. Me too. Sigma, the ship, is gone now. Faded into the black. Sims doesn't recognize the stars. Perhaps one of them is Marak. Perhaps they were only a few weeks from their destination. A minute left, Sims. What? You'll be out of range from me soon. Can we send a message to someone? Are there other ships? What can we do? No reply. Turner, what do we do? We wait. Good luck. Good luck and Godspeed, Sims. He watches the black hole for a long time and thinks of nothing. Godspeed, he replies finally, and closes the chat window with an idle finger. He waits to see if another idea is coming. Nothing. He powers the plastic wall down, and all that remains is a star field ahead. All of it ageless, or so old it may as well be. And now I will be ageless too, in a sense, he thinks. Until that hungry black god eats me up. Now I spend the centuries circling into it like a penny in one of those coin spirals at an arcade. A little ageless penny, and the whole of time before me, and my body ageless too. Barnstable was wrong. That great black thing isn't a god. I'm a god. We're all gods, all of us in these coffins, Turner and Eve and James. Or at least with all this time to think, with all the years ahead of us, with lifespans longer than our whole damn civilization has been standing, we'll surely be wise and bold and mad as gods by the time we're dead. He opens the message window one last time and sets it to broadcast in all directions, on every bandwidth, and to no one in particular. Godspeed and good night, then, to all of you. Godspeed and good night.